Yo, 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 it's your host, the Village TV, RUS, RUTHLESS, the Village Abbot, Grandmaster Shaolin, Traveler of the Immense, broadcasting from Shaolin. You already know where I'm at. I'm in the village. I don't go nowhere else, you feel me? I don't leave the soil. What I want to talk about is what it means to be black in America. Because people of other races, people from other countries, and people from other realms of contemporary society in the Western world, particularly the United States of America, the North American region, they do not understand what it means or what it is like for us as melanated beings on the North American continent under the governance of the United States of America. They do not understand what it means. And in a given situation, when faced with not only a difference of opinion, but a lack of understanding with somebody who does not come from our ethnic background and heritage, being that of quote unquote African American, or Afro American, being black in America. For people who are not black in America, they cannot understand what it's like for us, and they're not going to. You can tell them, hey, there's more of us in prison than anywhere else. The cops mistreat us more than anyone else. You can bring up these arguments. You can demonstrate factual statistics. But at the end of the day, they're always just going to point a finger at us and say that it's our fault. They're going to point a finger at us and they're going to say that we chose it for ourselves. And they don't know any better. There isn't a reason to argue with them about it. There isn't a reason to get upset about it, angry, or sad that these people don't understand us, because they could never comprehend it. They could never comprehend the actuality as what has happened to us. And I'm going to break it down, and I'm going to go in with the full cloth. Full disclosure. Full non-disclosure. I'm about to pull the card on the Zip Your Lips Act, because at the end of the day, shit, I might not be here tomorrow. Shit, I might not be here next week. And if I'm not here next week, or I'm not here tomorrow, or I'm not here a month from now, or a year from now, or 30 years from now, and I didn't say the shit that I knew while I was here, because I was too scared what might happen to me, or too scared what people might think. But that same information that I held in my mind's eye, that information that I possessed, and I didn't say it, then I did my people a disservice. Because somebody else might have came across this information that I put out there, and it might have helped them. It might have guided them when they were in a place where I was and I didn't have guidance, and I had to find a way myself. When I was in a place where I had to look to other people to guide me, whether that be historical figures, pop culture icons, family members, friends. So that's why I'm gonna only give the real perspective from the 100%, unfiltered. Because at this point, it's all devious. I'm gonna give it up. So the reason why we are where we are in America as melanated beings on the North American continent and the North American region is because we have been subject to a continuous, unending, and currently still active counterintelligence war. And we are currently still under and subject to counterintelligence warfare. Okay? Now, for those of you who don't know what I mean when I say counterintelligence warfare, I mean countering of intelligence for means of warfare. One of the problems in America that we have as melanated beings is that for the majority of us, when we look retrospectively to the past, to our past eras and our past generations, which is very important because our past generations and our past success is what influences us to make future advancements, we're looking towards slavery. However, what most people don't realize is the first slaves in America were indentured servants before the Atlantic slave trade even brought slaves over here. And what people also don't know is that there would be a black man walking down the street with a gun on his hip with a white woman. And no one could say shit. Free man. And if anyone tried to run up on him, he'd be blapping. But they don't put that in the movies and they don't put that in the books. And you know who's to blame for that? Alex Haley for Roots. And I add that Alex Haley was recruited as a government agent out of Central Intelligence, out of Navy Central Intelligence. He acted as an operative for the government. Roots is not a factual book. And it was majority plagiarized. You can go look up the lawsuit that Alex Haley was subject to for his plagiarization of Roots. He stole it from a book that was written by a white man, if I am not mistaken. And that book that I'm talking about became the source of what was used to create Roots. Roots and the various other depictions of slavery in the United States through various mediums, film, literature, is the reason why when we look retrospectively to the history of black people in America, we look back to slavery. And that is the root cause of our current distress. Because we are looking to not only a fictitious and untrue portrayal of ourselves in the past, but one that is continuously putting us in a place of defeat, distress, trauma, and desecration. Now, I want to build on that, and I want to keep going because I haven't even scratched the surface. The slave cinema and the slave literature that we have been subject to, as I've already stated, is one of the root causes of our current distress as black people in America, as melanated beings in America. Now, aside from the slave cinema and the slave literature, let me go further. So we fast forward from slavery, right? Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. Supposedly, Lincoln was a Moor or of Moorish descent. But that has been altered from history. Lincoln said himself that he did not issue the Emancipation Proclamation because he wanted to end slavery. That was not the reason why he